There will be many varied things that will trigger mental illness in us. There is no formula. So we need to take the responsibility and make sure that our mental health becomes a priority for us. 907 million people in the world right now are struggling with mental illness or drug abuse. And then let's think about people who actually live with this mental illness or other forms of invisible disabilities. Our brothers and sisters who live with ADHD or autism spectrum disorder. Are we making space for them to thrive in the workplace, or are we forcing them into a system that wasn't made for them so that they have to mask all day and all night to function in the system? It has negative impacts on their mental health. 8 million deaths every year, that's a lot of people dying and attributable to mental illness. And it's not necessarily attributable to suicide. It can be due to the physical health problems that come with mental illness. It can be due to medication side effects. It can be due to just the socioeconomic problem or decline that comes with being mentally ill. The struggle is quite wide and deep. What can we do to make sure that one less person doesn't add to this number, or one more person doesn't add to this number? And if you look at it on an average as well, only 30% of people who are ill with depression or psychosis are receiving formal treatment, which is, for me, was shocking, because I'm like, gosh, I'm so busy. And we're also busy in this country that we're only seeing 30%. That's just ridiculous. So just imagine how many more people in your workplace, your colleague on this call are struggling, and they're just kind of moving from day to day and making it work somehow, by some miracle, until they break down. What can we do? And if there are any leaders here, I want you to think about that. What can I do in my team to make sure that people are getting the best chance to model positive mental health attitudes? Being depressed is not for weaklings. Being depressed is not just people being sad and not being strong enough to move on. Being depressed is a real illness. Being psychotic is a real illness. So let's think about things like that. What can we then do? I think the basics of your mental health really is to look at, what do I need to thrive in my physical health? First of all, am I eating well? Because that's really what your whole body is made of, cells, isn't it? Water, cells, everything that makes up the structure of your body. If any of these things is not quite all right, it will have impact on your mental health. So eating well, balanced diet, all classes of food in moderation. Yeah, no starvation. Sleeping well, find out what sleep pattern works for you. There are lots of data online on how to figure out your sleep, when you function better, how much sleep you want. Moving your body, taking walks, not necessarily going to the gym or paying for a personal trainer. If you have lunch breaks and you can be outdoors for your lunch break, go outside and take a walk for your lunch break. Having a spiritual practice is a very strong protective factor for your mental health. And whatever it is that you believe in is valid. Just have something that you do that makes you stay in touch with your inner self. Some people meditate, some people pray, some people do all sorts of spiritual practices. It is good for you. Thinking about your five or six senses now, because I've added intuition to this. Your five senses, your touch, your smell, your hearing, everything. If you look around you now, look at your desk now. Does anything in your desk look attractive to you? Does anything on your desk make you smile? Do you have your favorite color in your, Do you have your favorite color on your desk? Does your office smell like in a way that you like? It is important. You may feel a bit hoo-ha, but it is important. It does have an effect on your mental health. Have you ever gone into a hotel or a restaurant or a spa and just felt relaxed immediately? Like, ooh, that's how powerful your senses are. So think about it and just integrate those things into your mental health. And if you're like me and you move to a new team, a new country, a new community, find people that are like you, find people that like things you like, be yourself within reason in an office environment, and be also the person that you would appreciate having. If you've been there for some time and you've settled down, help people who are still adjusting. Show them the ropes. Ask them if they need anything. This is not the time for us to mind our business. Mental health is our collective responsibility. And for our leaders, when you're doing policies and stuff, think about whether they are inclusive. Think about who is in the room and who is not in the room. Support and advocate for people who have mental illness. There are a lot of people who tell me that, if I report myself as mentally ill or I use the available resources, people will start to stigmatize me. So I'm waiting until I have money to do it privately. And then they are suffering, and their work output is going down, and they are getting poor appraisals, and they're being knocked down, until when they break down. And if somebody goes up mentally ill or has to be in hospital, do they still get paid in your company? Do you know? If you don't know, please find out. And if they don't, then ask why. And our leadership at all levels has to be culturally competent. We have a diverse workforce. You cannot still be stuck in the mode of the same induction program for every single person from every continent. Because some of the staff that work for you are in Asia, some are in Australia or came from Australia, some are from Africa, some are from America, some are from Europe. So you can't assume that they all have the same needs. And you need to model good mental health practices. As a leader, if you're not well, if you're stressed, you're modeling that your staff can come to work feeling stressed as well, irritable and screaming at people. Modeling good mental health practices is part of a leadership skill, and I encourage you to look into improving that. So let's think about what we need from this company so that you can thrive in the workplace. What would make your mental health really good so that you can thrive in the workplace? Think about it and please put it in the poll. Do you need more time? Do you need more one-to-one? Do you need private therapy? Do you need access? Do you need a duvet day? Some companies have duvet days, where you can just say, I'm not coming to work today, I just want to take a duvet day, and nobody asks you why, What do you need?
We've got listening, understanding, support, leadership.
Lovely. Okay, thank you. So we just move on to the next, just talking about the kind of support you need. I know that Baker Hughes has invested quite a lot of money in the Employee Assistance Program. You have something called a UNOM. You also have mental health first aiders, and you hear from Imogen later. But I also encourage your company to have good transition support for new employees. Some people say that, oh yeah, we have an induction program. But as I said, the same induction program for everybody is not for the workforce of 2023. Yeah? Some companies have body programs. So if somebody has been in the company for 10 years and has the same cultural background as somebody who has just joined, they body them up for a year, and it's quite a useful relationship that goes even beyond the workplace sometimes. If we're doing review meetings and appraisal meetings, let us also discuss personal development plans, not just organizational plans or organizational achievements. Let's include life discussions. What do you want to achieve, or what's going on in your life? Have you settled down? Have you found a house? Do you know how to access this and access that? Let's be human in our interactions with the workplace. Mentorship programs that are inclusive, include career progression plans. Some of our people may not have the same career progression plan. So if somebody comes in and wants to be VP in the next 3 years, and there's somebody else who is okay, not achieving that, let's make sure that we are accommodating to those kind of things. Yeah. And what should the ideal mental health support be like, especially in a workplace like yours? I will expect my workplace to provide confidential mental health support. So if I talk to my manager that I'm struggling, I don't want to hear it in the lunch bay. It should be accessible. I should be able to access it online or face to face, depending on what is convenient for me. It should be flexible in time and location, holistic. We're not just talking about work goals or work plans. We should be able to talk about things that affect my personal life and even my culture and my religion in mental health support. It should be variable in the model that is convenient for the person who needs it. Also, I don't think I want to wait 6 weeks before I can talk to a therapist if that is what I need. I want to be able to talk to somebody as soon as possible. I should also be able to choose my therapist. If I want a black therapist, I get it. If I want a white therapist, I get it. If I want a woman, I get it. If I want a man, I get it. And I'm hoping that when you do access it, you get a block booking and you don't have to book every single time, so that you have to go through that mental process of, oh my God, I have to book it, I have to take time off. It should be a block booking. And I think that's something that your company provides. So let's think about our employee assistance programs in the UK. I was very happy to see that 88% of UK employers have one. Unfortunately, only 5% of employees use them. So tell me why you're not using yours, because you're among the 5%. And I know that there are many barriers to this, and some people don't even know they exist. That's a major one, especially for people that have just moved into your company from one place to another. And the truth is that some people also think about the fact that will my salary be deducted if I use it? Or will people know about it if I use it? Will it be on my company file? Anybody will know that I'm mentally ill. Your employer gets £8 out of you for every £1 they spend in your EAP. And that is statistics that is well known and easily available online. So think about it. What are your own barriers to using your EAP? What's stopping you? Yeah? Who needs a counselor, first aider, or a therapist, or even mental health support generally? It's you, it's me. It's accessible to us. You know, if you're going through a life transition, you're going through a divorce, you're about to be married, your mom died, your sister is sick, you need that support. Because how are you expected to thrive at work when you're carrying the burden of so many things going on in your personal life? You have a mental health problem already, you're taking medication, and the symptoms are worsening, or you have new symptoms, you need mental health support. You're making a big life decision, as mentioned earlier. You're looking for information on how to improve your life, improve your productivity, to grow personally. You need somebody who is unbiased, somebody who is in a professional capacity, can kind of, guide you or give you the good advice that you need at that point in time. A lot of us have amazing family and friends who fit into that role. And I congratulate you because it's really good. It's a very, very solid positive for your mental health. But they are not trained professionals. If you do need a professional, do not hesitate to reach out for one. Not all of us will need it, but some of us do need it. And a professional relationship is so different from the relationship you have with your friends or your family. And I can guarantee you it will be weird because this is a stranger. Just going to pour out all your bowels to a stranger. It is weird, yeah, but the relationship will be formed, and like most relationships, it's not built in a day, but going out of your comfort zone will benefit you in the long run. It will require you to be vulnerable and honest for you to get the best out of it. Give it a good try. It will be confidential because, as I said, a therapeutic relationship is a very professional relationship with very well outlined boundaries, and you will be made aware of them, yeah? Interview a few therapists. Look at it as this person is somebody I'm going to be building a relationship with over a few weeks. I need to know them well. Ask them questions. No question is too much for you to ask. They're trained to answer you. And then commit to one for a few sessions before you make a decision if you want to continue or not. So what do you think about your EAP? Have you ever used it before? Just click yes or no. Do you even know it exists? Although there's no space for that. Do you know you have first aiders? Do you know you can be trained to be a first aider? Yeah? If you just respond to the poll, thank you.
So far we've got like 20% yes and 80% no.
See, that's a huge number. And that's an access problem. Just looking at that. It's an access problem. It's that people don't know or they are not using it for one reason or another. So I implore you today, you have Lubna here, you have Imogen here, send them a message now on MS Teams and say, I'll let you know more about it. And then pick up the conversation after. Imogen will give us more information about that soon. So mental health, what can I do next? I've said before, it's a collective responsibility. It's my responsibility, it's your responsibility. The people that work with us are important, whether they are people that we can relate with or not. You need to take care of each other in the workplace, outside the workplace, within your families, within your friendship groups. Think about what your own barriers to accessing mental health support is. Why wouldn't I, access it even if I know it's there? What will stop me from calling my GP to say I'm struggling from mental health problems? There are so many places you can find help. If you don't want to go through work, you can go through your GP. You have your ERGs, you have your first aiders. And then think about being more self-aware so that you know when you're feeling unwell. You need to be more self-aware. Think about yourself. If you're somebody that used to read books before, All of a sudden, books are just not something you think about. You used to go out in the sunlight and take walks, and now you stopped. You need to check in with yourself to see what's going on with you so that when things change, you know something has changed. Prioritize your needs. In the workplace, prioritize your needs. I think that there's this statistic that says that 20% of your work time should be spent doing something that actually interests you at work. Some people have set up support groups at work. Some people have set up, advocated for things that they found useful, such as childcare, crutches, and all those kind of things. Find something in work that is aligned with your purpose that you are doing. For me, that's teaching. I teach, it wake me up at night, I teach medical students, I teach my colleagues, I help people pass exams and things like that. It's separate from my clinical work, but it just gives me that energy. So find what it is for you and be kind to yourself. We are all high achievers. That's why we're here. You're sitting in a seat that you earned. Like nobody's doing you a favor by giving you a job. There's nothing like that. You earned that job. You deserve to be there. That's why you're there. So don't feel like anybody's doing you a favor. Be kind to yourself. Relax and give it your best shot. Available resources in the UK. Your EAP is there. Start from there. Your local GP is there. Look, just Google mental health service near me. If you want to go private, you can. If you're in a crisis situation, you're feeling overwhelmed, call the crisis team. Call 999. Find the number of your local emergency department. If you're previously on any medication, I beg you, whether you're pregnant or not, continue taking your medication until it stops. Yeah? Don't stop your medication just because things have changed. You can't afford it. You become pregnant. You're trying to have a baby. Have a discussion with a doctor first. Alcohol and drugs, though lovely to use, they are not a good coping mechanism. The high lasts this tiny, and then you live with the repercussion of it for a lifetime. Please do not cope with stress that way, I beg you. And there's so many websites. ADHD UK has ways of managing in the workplace. The British Association of Counseling and Psychotherapy. There's also a British, Asian, and African therapist network where you can find, therapists from diverse backgrounds. So many free resources. And I've just put this QR code here because you can get a guide to help you kind of think about how to use your six senses in your everyday life.